Hey everybody, welcome. We are in week 5 and we're going to take a quick look at what's going on this week. I feel like we already know because we are in the midst of what we started last week in terms of the group projects for the Sophocles group. So, but I still want to say hi. It's Monday. And I still want to kind of orient ourselves and understand where we are. And of course, even more importantly, perhaps where we are going. So I had a couple questions last week by email, and I did post a response to those in addition to answering them in the announcement. So I want to go over this a little bit because this will answer many of the questions that we will be dealing with this week. So the presentations are essentially you teaching your classmates about the other plays that they have not read. So once I get all 3 of the videos, I'm going to post them for you in the announcements so that you can watch not only your own group's video to see how fabulous you are, but you want to make sure that you watch the other 2 because you will need to know and want to know all the Sophocles trilogy. But you're only going to be responsible for reading the play you've been assigned in great depth. So this will allow you to understand all 3 of the plays in the trilogy rather than just the one that you've read. So that's what is going on with the presentation. So you can really cover anything that you want to cover. I would definitely say you need to break it down by the normal discussion of the play's formal elements. So the plot, I wouldn't necessarily go into excruciating detail about the plot, but what's happening in that play, right? A quick summary of that. You can focus on the conflict, you can focus on the climax of the action, but a little bit of an overview of what's happening in the play. Probably more importantly will be the characters. Setting is fairly the same for all 3, but the characters and the themes are probably going to where you're going to spend your most of your time. Now, you are welcome to do something fun with it. If you find a video that you want to show, you can embed that within your video. If you want to do a dramatic reading, if you want to act out a little piece, whatever the case may be, you definitely can include some direct quotations, things of that nature. But mostly I want you to have fun with it. One of the things that I mention here, and as a reminder, when you use visuals, so for example, if you do some research and you find some images that show the play being produced somewhere, you do need to cite those images. So you definitely want to use visuals. Don't be afraid of using them, but just keep track of where you find them so that you can properly cite them as well. So that's what's happening in terms of the presentations themselves. The other thing to do here is to remind ourselves of what's coming, because next week you have Midsummer Night's Dream, and even though you kind of have 2 weeks to read it, you do have a discussion board about it next week, so you may want to get moving faster than normal. Midsummer Night's Dream is a pretty long play. It's one of Shakespeare's full-length plays, so 5 acts. It's a lot. It's a fun one, but the language is tricky. So I would encourage you to use the videos that are included with the library materials. And of course, it's a good reminder of the library materials. We'll look at that before we get out of here today, because of course you may want to use some of the library materials on the in the Sophocles presentations as well. So let's take a look at the module. If I have never shown you this, or if you are unaware of it, our class is broken down into fairly just 5 modules. But if you ever have seen some of the classes with the online materials where the modules page gets super long. One thing I like to do, and I am a current student using Canvas myself as a student, when I finish a module, I like to make it small so that it goes away. It doesn't really go away. All you have to do is click the arrow again. But I like to have that so I don't have so much stuff up on my screen. It's just a little trick that I like to do. All right, so the learning materials have not changed. Module 2, for weeks 3 through 7, everything is there. We're entering into Shakespeare territory. So let me remind you of where our readings are. Once you click on that, it's going to take you to the readings. This is the ancient roots section, so it's open for you when you click that link. We had Plato early. Those were the first week assignments. Now we are in the 3 plays by Sophocles section, and then we have Midsummer Night's Dream by Shakespeare. So one of the things that's pretty cool about library materials is that there are other things besides just the play. Almost always, Kevin, our wonderful librarian, has supplied us with a video of the play being produced. We have an author biography, and of course, you don't probably need to include the author biography for the presentations because all 3 groups have learned about Sophocles because they're all Sophocles plays. And then we have, of course, critical analysis articles. Now, these you may want to use in your discussion of the play on your PowerPoint in your video. Make sure that if you are using resources that you are citing them. So you would have a references pair, works cited page for sure at the end of the video. And then if you have quotes or things, you would use in-text citations the same way you would in a paper. I'm just going to open one of these because, of course, all these are library sources and they come with citations pre-made for you. So you don't have to invent the citation, but you do want to include it. So if you were going to use something from this, you would have the citation button right here, and you would use the MLA citation, which is right there. So keep that in mind if you are using those. They are great resources, but they also do need to be cited, but the citations are provided for you. Most of the time, the citations are provided for the primary source as well. Not on the Oedipus plays, but on Shakespeare. And oh my gosh, Shakespeare, I like it. But anyway, there is a citation provided with that. Anyway, so good stuff there. So this week, the only thing that you have to have done by the end of the week is your PowerPoint. Now, if you finish the video, that's fine, but you have 2 weeks to finish the video itself. I would try, if I were you, to record the video synchronously using Zoom. That's the easiest. It's what I do every week with these. I use my Zoom because I can share my screen. It gives me the functionality of recording. You don't have to use Zoom, but I do highly recommend it. Now, the other thing, of course, is once you have completed the video, you need to get it to me. And the easiest way to do that is to upload it to YouTube first and then just send me the link. But I'll talk more about that next week because the video is not due until the end of week 6. For the Midsummer Night's Dream stuff, you will be doing discussion board 3 next week. Again, I'll talk about that on the Monday of. And then, of course, for this week, the only thing that you need to do is to submit the PowerPoint. You are assigned, this is assigned as a group assignment. So really only one person has to turn in the assignment. It is going to count, of course, for everyone in your Sophocles presentation. So don't turn it in until you know it's done. But if everybody wants to turn one in, that's fine. I don't think it'll mess anything up. But really only one person in the group needs to do that. I haven't had Anybody report that you are having trouble contacting each other? So the groups are working in order to find your groups and to contact each other, of course, under people. The Sophocles groups are assigned here and you're equally divided. There's exactly 4 of you in each one. I can't look at it because I am not in the student in the groups as a student. But let me know if there are problems and I'll try to help you facilitate, but haven't had any complaints about that part. So I think most of you guys already know each other and are pretty close. And so I have a feeling you have ways of contacting each other that are helpful. The other thing, and I think I talked about it last week, the other thing is that if you wanted to work on your group presentation all at once, you certainly can use the Google Slides and then upload it into Word. Yeah, I know I showed you that because I was in a class over the summer where we had to do group presentations, and that's how we did it. Well, ours were documents, not slides, but Google Slides, slides.google.com does the same thing as Google Docs for slideshow presentations. So feel free to do it that way. Just make sure that when you send it to me, you do send it to me in PowerPoint form. It's just more professional and a little bit easier for me. All right. As usual, if you have any questions, please reach out either by the Ask Me discussion board or inbox. Office hours are Tuesday night. So if you have any questions, you want to reach out then, we can hop on Zoom. And I just hope you have a great week 5. We are a third of the way through the semester already, which seems crazy, but there it is. So I look forward to learning about Sophocles from all of you. Take care.